Hello everyone, welcome to another Xenon Smash tutorial. In today's tutorial, we're going to be showing you how to create this white smoke effect that you see in this scene right here. Now this is a particle system that's created with the Shuriken particle system within Unity 3D, which is the newer, up-to-date particle system that's used within the new Unity 3D engine. Alright, so let's get started. So I'm not going to recreate this particle system, I'm just going to go over the settings that we use. So if we take a look at it, it looks pretty good right now. We have a very nice realistic looking effect, and it fades away very nicely at the top right here. So if we take a look at our particle system settings, I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a bit. The first setting that we're going to be changing is the start lifetime. The start lifetime is set to 5.4, and the start speed is set to 5.5. Then we have the start size at 14.4. The start rotation is going to be at 19.1, and the start color is going to be white. Now the reason we're using a start color of white is because the actual texture that we're applying to our particle system is white. Now you can also adjust it to use the gradient or anything else in here, but we're going to leave it at white. Now there's nothing else we need to do in this panel, so let's go down to the emission tab, open that up, and you can see the rate is set to 10.76. Nothing else needs to be done in here. Go down to the shape tab, and you can see right now it's kind of like a cylindrical type of object right now. So it's actually a cone shape, but we set the angle to a 0.04 and the radius to a 1.88. It's emitting from the base, and there's nothing else that needs to be changed in here. So we're going to jump down to color over lifetime. Now the color over lifetime, I'm going to go ahead and unselect it first so you can see what it looks like. Now the color over lifetime is going to give us this nice fade effect up here. So if I uncheck it, you'll be able to see that it kind of pops away as it gets to the very top. Basically at the end of its life, it just pops away, and that's not very realistic. You can also see that our smoke is much brighter right here. Now it looks good from right here, but at the very top it gives us this popping effect. So you want to go ahead and select color over lifetime, and if you open this up, you have this gradient editor. Now the gradient editor right here, these two little tabs at the bottom, are actually used for our colors, and the top ones are the alpha values that give us our transparency. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to a white color. Go ahead and double click on it. I'm going to go and change it to a white color. And if you go ahead and select this top right tab right here, you can adjust the alpha value. Now if I go ahead and set this all the way up, you can see that we have that popping effect, and the alpha value is actually making it fade away nicely. So go ahead and set it all the way down. You can see that it's still popping in and out as we're going down. So if you set it all the way down, it gives us this nice fade effect. Alright, so that is color over lifetime. The next one is going to be size over lifetime. Now, if you go ahead and click on this and open up your particle systems curve down here, you can see that we have a nice gradual curve right here. Now, what this is going to do is basically, if we take a look at the bottom, we can see the particles start off really small, and then they get bigger and bigger as they go along. That's what gives us this nice smoke effect. And then eventually they fade away. But that's the size over lifetime. So at the bottom of this curve, it's starting off very small, then gradually getting bigger as it goes along, and then it finally fades away. So that's size over lifetime. And we're using the curve right here. If you open up this little drop-down menu on the side. Alright, then the next one's going to be size by speed. And we're using the curve. Click on this little icon right here, and you can get this down here. And once again, this is a nice gradual curve upward. So this is basically giving us our speed dependent on the size of the particles. So at the very bottom, it's very fast right here, and that's because the particles are very small. As we go up higher and higher, you can see that it gets much slower, and that's because they're bigger. So this is changing the speed dependent on the size of our particles. So that's size by speed. Then we have rotation over lifetime. This one's a little bit different. This one has a random between two curves. So if we take a look at this, we have a straight line right here, and then we have a gradual slope right here. And it's picking a value between these two to give us our rotation. So this gives us our random rotation between anywhere in here. And that's what gives us this nice effect right here. If you go ahead and uncheck this, you'll be able to see what it looks like. You can see that it gives us this very, it looks kind of like a tornado. It's very, I don't know how to put it. It doesn't look very good. It looks unrealistic. Now this can be good for any type of wind effect like a tornado or anything like of that sort, but since we just have smoke, we want to go ahead and randomize the rotation. So go ahead and check that, and you can see it looks like a nice white puff of smoke. Alright, then we have rotation by speed. Once again, just like the size by speed, this is determining the amount of rotation based off the speed. So at the bottom it starts rotating quickly. At the top, once it actually gets bigger, it's going to slowing down. So this one kind of works hand in hand with the size over lifetime and stuff like that. So then finally, after that, we have the renderer, which is probably the most important part for the look of this actual particle system right here. Now the render mode is set to billboard. Now for the material, I have this custom material that I downloaded off cgtextures.com. The texture is right here. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Now this texture is going to look a little bit different from the one that you actually have. And the difference is in the texture that you're going to be downloading, you're going to see like this pike right here. And you can kind of see that I try to remove some of it. And the reason I removed it is because it looked very, very distinct in our particle system. So I wanted to go ahead and remove that portion so it doesn't look very distinct. The other thing I did as well is you want to make sure that the smoke texture is not touching the corners of your texture right here. So I went around with a simple black brush and just slowly faded out the corners here so it doesn't have any distinct angular edges to this texture. So if we try to zoom in on a texture down here, go ahead and zoom in on this one down here, you can see that it looks like a nice puff of smoke. And you can kind of see the pike that I'm talking about right here. Now, if the smoke was touching the edges, you'll be able to see like a nice line basically blocking the texture or blocking out the texture. And you don't want that for your smoke effect. And that's the reason why you want to go ahead and make sure that your smoke is right in the middle. And then the outer portions are nice and blacked out. All right, so let's go back to our particle system. So that is our smoke material. Now the smoke material that I created is right here. And I just basically added the texture right here. Now the shader is set to Particles Additive Soft. So if we go down to Particles Additive, you can see the effect that we have here. Now Particles Additive basically multiplies the white portion right here. That's why it looks so bright. Then you have other ones like the Alpha Blended. You can see that it actually takes the actual texture itself and gives us this blocky look. So we're going to go with Particles Additive Soft. And you can see that it removes basically all the black portions right here that gives us this very nice soft smoky look. Alright, and basically everything else in this renderer tab is going to be set to default. Once again, you have your smoke material right here as well. You can change the shader from here if you'd like. But that's pretty much it. And that's how you create a very simple smoke effect in Unity 3D using the Shuriken particle system. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching.